Hey everyone, welcome back to another tier list. Sorry, it's been a little while. I've been watching lots of movies still, but I haven't really had any full directors' filmographies that I could do yet with decent sized filmographies until now. So, Danny Boyle is a director who I have already seen all of his films up until this point, but I did recently watch his new one, 28 Years Later, just last week. And I also rewatched 28 Days Later because I hadn't seen it for a long time. So now I've seen all 14 of his films. Most of them I watched about 5 years ago during COVID. So a lot of his films I've really only seen once, and I probably will be fairly brief discussing each one just because it's been a while and I've only seen most of them once. So I can't remember too much details about each of them, to be honest, but I do remember kind of roughly how much I liked them and where I would rank them on this list. So it's in no particular order. And we'll start off with The Beach. So The Beach is probably one of his most disliked films, I would say. And for good reason. It's a bit of a bizarre kind of movie, but I really actually like the concept behind it. I like the idea of people being hidden away on this island off of like a tropical paradise where tourists are kind of drawn to and then they stay there forever. It's a good concept, and I think it was based off of a book by Alex Garland as well. And it's got Leonardo DiCaprio. However, he's not very good or likable in the film. He's very erratic and very annoying in the movie. However, there's things I still like about the movie, but at the end of the day, it's not great. I'm going to put it in the C tier. It's probably one of his weaker films as a director, even though there's things I still really enjoy about it. Yeah, it looks good. It's got Danny Boyle's sound and style to it, the fast pace, the strange editing, and his kind of music and all the style that he kind of puts in most of his films. You can definitely tell it's one of his movies. But yeah, it's just pretty bizarre and out there, but I do kind of like things about it. Next is A Life Less Ordinary. This is one no one really talks about. I watched it, yeah, like once 5 years ago, and I actually remember enjoying it quite a bit. I'm going to put it in the B tier. I think it's probably one of his more underrated films. Most people will have it down the bottom end of his list. However, I thought it was quite unique and fun and fast paced and light and funny. You've obviously got Ewan McGregor and Cameron Diaz here. He's worked with Ewan McGregor a few times, and this was, I think, only his second or third film at this point. And yeah, it was okay. I didn't mind it. 127 Hours is probably one of his most accessible, most well-known films, probably one of his biggest films, and I enjoy this film quite a bit. I'm going to put it in the A tier. So it's based on a true story of, I think his name's Aaron Ralston. He's a guy who pretty much goes hiking near the Grand Canyon and gets trapped. His arm gets stuck between a rock and a rock wall, and yeah, I guess he's there for 127 hours, and he kind of has to come to the realization that no one's coming to help him, so he has to help himself and pretty much take his arm off. So it's a pretty intense film. It's a good movie. For a film that takes place mostly in one location, where a character can't move or do much, it's actually very investing and very entertaining, and quite intense towards the end as well. It's a really good film. I enjoy it quite a bit. Trainspotting is a classic film, a classic British film from Danny Boyle. It was only his second movie, I think. Another one with Ewan McGregor. It's a pretty classic, yeah, iconic film from that 90s era of British kind of crime comedy, drug films. I didn't love the first one. I thought it was good. I'm going to put it in the B tier. I remember enjoying it, but not thinking it was amazing or anything like that. Again, this is one of the ones that I've only seen once, and it was a while ago, so I can't talk in depth too much about it, but I do remember enjoying the film. It had some quite dark moments, some quite intense moments, as well as some really funny stuff. So it's a bit all over the place, but for what it was not bad. So 28 Days Later, this is the one I rewatched just last week, after watching 28 Years Later and 28 Weeks Later for the first time as well. This is a good movie. It's shot on cameras that looks like anybody could have just pulled their digital camera out back in 2002 and shot this film, but it kind of works for the movie, giving it a more realistic feel. It doesn't feel like a big budget Hollywood zombie kind of movie, and the fact that the zombies are fast is really scary as well. Obviously, I've been watching The Walking Dead at the moment, and they're slow zombies, so when you go watching this, you're like, oh wow, this would not work if you've got fast zombies. Like, you're not going to last long at all. And how quickly people change from being human to a zombie if they get the blood on them or anything like that. It's pretty intense. And I think people's complaining about the new film's kind of silly because they're saying it's not as much action or zombie carnage as the first one, but the first one really doesn't have all that much either. There's just sporadic kind of moments and scenes throughout the film, but it really focuses more on the human drama. So I felt like 28 Years Later definitely did mesh well with this film. I think I liked it more than most people, but we'll get to that one in a minute. But yeah, this is another B tier film for me. I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm not huge on the zombie genre. I prefer vampires and werewolves and things like that, but zombies aren't bad. I think, yeah, it's definitely one of the classics. Next we have Sunshine. This is my personal favourite Danny Boyle film, and it's probably my only S tier one. I'm going to pop it up there. Again, I've only seen this once, and I do have it on Blu-ray, and I keep planning on watching it again. But it definitely fits into that style film that is like science fiction horror, which is one of my favourite styles. That's why the Alien franchise is my favourite franchise. And I love films like this and Event Horizon, which really kind of capture that similar vibe and tone. And Sunshine is a really great, really intense horror sci-fi thriller film in space. And I'm pretty keen to watch it again. I'll have to get around to that soon. But yeah, you've got Cillian Murphy there, who obviously was from the 28 Years Later and Days Later films. So he works with a lot of actors regularly that you'll see come up. But yeah, that's my personal favourite of his films. I think it's definitely his most underrated movie. And I've never really seen it at the top of anyone else's list, to be honest. But I think it's definitely better than, anything else he's done, in my opinion. So Trance is, going from my favourite to probably my least favourite. Trance, I'm going to put it in the C tier with The Beach. It was another one that had a cool concept and idea, good performances and intense moments. However, I didn't really love the film or think it was that great or amazing at all. I don't think any of his films fall below a C tier. I think all of his films are decent and watchable. But yeah, Trance just wasn't a great film in my opinion. It was okay. It held my attention for the run time and all that, but yeah, it just wasn't like anything that I can see myself really coming back to all that often. So Slumdog Millionaire is another big popular film. I think it won Best Picture or was nominated the year it came out, and it's a pretty good movie. I think it's one of his better films. As far as this list goes, I'll put it at the top of the B tier. I still don't think it's a great movie by any means, but I do enjoy it. I think it's got a lot of energy to it. It's definitely got Danny Boyle's style and his quick cutting and his music and everything like that throughout that really sells you on the fact that it's one of his movies, and I really like his style, and it works in this film really well. Trying to follow this kid, trying to find this girl in India, and it's a good movie. Again, another one that I have to rewatch that I've only seen once, but I did enjoy it. So coming up to his new film, and this is the first movie he's made in like 6 years, and it's the sequel to obviously the one we've already spoken about. This is, the third film actually in the trilogy, and there's going to be another one coming out following this one in January next year, which is exciting. So this is 28 Years Later. This is a movie I watched maybe a week ago, and I enjoyed it when I watched it, but then I couldn't stop thinking about it for the next like 3 or 4 days afterwards, and I started to like it even more the more I thought about it, and to the point where I really don't understand a lot of the complaints about this movie. I actually think it's a really good film. I actually think it's one of Danny Boyle's best. I'm going to pop it up in the A tier as well. People complain that the first half is really good and it feels like a 28 Days Later film because it's like a zombie apocalypse survival movie, but then that it drops off in the second half because it becomes more of a coming of age story about a boy who's kind of trying to grow up but also realize he has to let go of his parents, and it does it in a really kind of beautiful and emotional way. I think that really works with the film, still keeping in line with the first film, as well as bringing zombie action into the second half of the film at random moments here and there. I actually really enjoyed the film a lot. I think it had a lot of heart and a lot of emotion. I think it ended really well with this kind of cathartic ending with this boy and his mother. The music was really good. It definitely had the look and visual style and flair and editing and sound of a Danny Boyle film. And yeah, I really liked it, to be honest. The more I think about it, the more I like it. I really, there's a few great scenes throughout the film, and not just in the first half, in the second half. Obviously, people complain as well about the very ending of the film. It does end very strangely. However, I'm interested to see where it goes. I know I'm open to the film being a bit more out there as long as it can follow up on that in the next movie and have it make sense and actually lead into something cool. Because if it does, then people won't be so worried about the ending of the film because they'll understand where it's going. But yeah, I liked it. I think it was something fun and original. It wasn't necessarily a scary horror film, but it was a good movie. Still with some great zombie action and carnage, but great performances as well, and a real depth to it rather than just being a surface level horror film. So next up we have Millions. And I guess this is the only kind of family movie that Danny Boyle's made. I actually enjoyed this film. I enjoyed it. Again, another one I watched about 5 years ago during COVID. I'm going to put this one up in the B tier. I think it's a solid movie. I think it's a feel-good film. Even though it's more of a family-friendly film, it's still one that I think anyone of any age can watch because it's not a kid film. Like, it's not just made for kids. It's definitely like family-oriented, adults and children. And yeah, I just remember liking it a lot. I don't remember a lot about it, but I just remember enjoying it. Yesterday is the second most recent film he made in 2019. It's got an interesting idea. I think it's like, what if the Beatles never existed and only this one man remembers them? So he kind of takes their songs and becomes famous. The concept is cool. However, the movie didn't really grab me that much. It's another one I'll pop in the C tier. I think it was just okay. Yeah, it definitely felt very weak for a Danny Boyle film as far as his style and everything like that goes. It felt very mild. The film was okay though, but interesting concept, but wasn't really executed that in a way that I found it to be very entertaining. So Steve Jobs is next. This is a really good movie actually. I'm going to put this up in the A tier. Oops, sorry. So this movie is quite interesting. It sounds like a boring film because the premise is that we're following Steve Jobs. I think it's through the release of 3 of his Apple products over the years. And so we're getting like the build up to it in each level, as well as the presentation and everything like that. And it doesn't sound like an interesting concept, but it was executed very well. The acting's great here. The direction's great. I think the film was written by Aaron Sorkin, who's a very good screenwriter from films like The Social Network and Wally's Game. But it's a very good movie. It's a very tight film. It's a great drama, great acting, great dialogue. And yeah, actually a lot better of a film than I would have thought it would have been. And very entertaining for what it is as well. Next we have his first film, Shallow Grave. This is an entertaining crime thriller drama film, another one with Ewan McGregor. I enjoyed this one quite a bit as well. I'm going to pop it in the B tier. Most of his films kind of fall into the B tier for me, where they are good films but not great films. I do remember liking that one though, especially for a first feature film. A lot of directors don't do that well on their first films, or they're not my personal favourites of their entire filmography. But I think Shallow Grave is a good first film. And last but not least, we have T2 Trainspotting 2. So I remember watching this expecting to like it, but not as much as the first film. But for some reason, I actually really liked it a whole lot. I'm going to put it in the A tier. I liked it a lot more than the first film. I don't think I've ever seen any list where people would put the second Trainspotting above the first one, but I actually liked it a whole lot more than the first one. Just revisiting the world and the characters like 20 odd years later, and where their lives are at, it just kind of, I guess, got to me more than the first film. I just enjoyed it more. I enjoyed the characters more in this film and the storylines more and everything that was going on. Again, I've only seen this one once as well. I do plan on getting it and watching it again, just because I did enjoy it a whole lot. I'd have to rewatch it again though, to be honest, to remember why. But yeah, I do remember loving that film a lot. So yeah, that's pretty much it for his filmography. 14 movies at the moment. He's not returning to direct the 28 years later sequel. I think he's producing it, but I think he has said that if it gets the funding, he'll be making a third film in this new trilogy, which will be cool. So yeah, he's a good director. I like him. Obviously, the S and A tier films I think are fantastic. The B tier films are all solid. And the C tier films are not bad, but they're just kind of average in my opinion. So sorry I couldn't get a bit more in depth on some of these, but like I said, I've only seen a lot of them once and it was at least 5 years ago. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe and please leave a comment below where you would rank Danny Boyle's films too. See you later.